yes, everybody.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, and welcome to Third Eye View. Today, my guest is Theresa Laliberte, and I met her at a holistic fair in Tiverton and never really paid attention to her last name until I got home. And I looked at her last name and I thought, well, there can't be too many people in Port Elgin with that last name. And it turns out it was her father-in-law and my husband used to coach girls basketball together at the high school in Port Elgin. So it kind of makes this one a little bit special. So Theresa, welcome to Third Eye View.
Thank you, Lynn. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, and I'm excited to have you because you do a lot of things and you're also very creative, like you've created things as well. So on your business card, you have the Ayurveda and the flower essence sessions, but you actually do more than that.
I do. So those are two different modalities that I offer to clients. I also do, I can talk to people about supplements and stuff like that as well. But I have also created an oracle deck that pardon?
Sorry, I want to get a deck of those cards too, because I think they're great.
Oh, they're fabulous. So yeah, they came to me because I was stuck at a point in my life where I needed something, like I knew there was something I needed to do, but I didn't know what it was. So I thought there should be a deck out there and there wasn't. So I made one.
Hey, that's the way it goes, right?
Yes. Yeah. My friend Christy actually also did all the artwork for it. So she's a local artist as well.
Oh, that's good. And from what I remember, it is very plain, very simple.
Yes.
It's very, very easy to use. And this, I think, is something that's important to talk about because anyone that is looking to get into doing readings or just wants a deck of cards for themselves, oracle cards are ideal for that because they're not as easy to misinterpret. But you don't have a lot to learn to use them. You don't have all this memory work. It's just bang, right there, black and white.
Yes, it's true. I was doing some readings at the holistic fair for some people, and oftentimes the cards that came up read like exactly what was happening in their lives. So they're like, I already know this. Well, I'm sorry. The cards are telling you you're not doing it and you need to.
Exactly. And, I find the same thing a lot of times with cards and people say, well, yeah, I know that. It's like, okay, but I didn't. And if I'm telling you, you're being reminded about it because you're not doing, it, but you're not doing anything about it. You're not doing anything to fix it, or you're not doing anything to work towards the goal or accomplishing. And it's sort of time to get up and get moving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the deck is called What Do I Need? And oftentimes when people are shuffling the cards, you just ask a question to spirit or the universe. What is it I need in this moment? And then you lay out 3 or 4 cards and it tells you like a story, what it is that you need.
Well, I think that's awesome. Like I say, I would like to get a deck. And if you'd be interested in a deck of mine, we can just do a trade, deck for deck.
I would love that.
Yes, because mine are all my own artwork.
Ah, fabulous.
And oracle cards too. And I have a feeling that I find it sometimes to get a little more in depth is to use two different decks of cards.
I agree. I do the same thing.
Yes, and I have a feeling, and actually my guides are telling me that your deck and my deck will actually work very well together.
I can't wait to try that.
Neither can I. I'll have to hurry up and get up to Port Elgin. Drop by and see you and see your father-in-law at the same time. All right, now with the healing, and I'd like to get back to the cards and some of the other things that you do later on. But first of all, Ayurveda sessions. Yes. What exactly? Because I know, even myself, I have sort of a vague idea, but I really don't know what it is. And I know that there'll be a lot of people out there in the same boat that they don't have a clue either. So.
Oh, for sure. So Ayurveda is a healing modality that's been around for thousands of years. It is actually what they use in India. So it's kind of the Indian equivalent to traditional Chinese medicine. And their concept that they use, just to bring it all down, because it can get very complex, is they use lifestyle and herbs and all of those things to bring us back to balance. We're born with a certain constitution. So we're born with a certain constitution, and throughout life, through what we eat, through our external experiences, through our environment, all of that stuff, it can change our constitution. So that can eventually lead to physical disruptions in our body. Like if you were to have too much air, so their doshas are based off of the elements, the air, fire, earth, water, and space. And they all have their own energies. So air would be like quick moving and dry. Fire would be hot and also quick moving. Space would be cold and dark. Earth would be like wet and grounding. And then water would also be wet and flowing. When we get too much of those in our bodies, then that can cause those types of disruptions. So when we have a lot of air energy, that can come through as excess gas or dryness, or it can be like your mind racing all the time. So what I do is I help clients through the lifestyle changes get back to their original constitution, or as close as they're able to.
Now, as an example, how would you get too much air or any other thing into your system?
Of course. So in North America, we are in a very quick environment. Like everything is go, go, go. A lot of us don't take enough time to rest, or we're eating on the run. So we stop at a fast food place and get takeout, and then we're eating as we're driving. So air is the Vata dosha, and Vata is made up of air and space. So when you are doing too much of this quick moving stuff all the time, then that energy gets put into our energies, and it can throw it out of balance.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, that makes sense to me, because when I'm busy, I'm eating on the run and go, 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 go. And Russ keeps telling me, you need to slow down. And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. But no, it's true. And then you do, and then you wear yourself out.
And your digestion is all thrown off.
Yeah.
Like it's just a whole, it's like a domino effect.
So if somebody wanted to have a session with you on the Ayurveda, like, is this something that can be done with one session, or is it better if they have more than one?
So it is best if they have more than one session. Oftentimes the first session is just getting to know how I work with Ayurveda, and then getting to know how my client's life is, like all their background. There is an intake form that I have that they fill out. It's pretty extensive, just so we can spend less time on getting Like it just,
Mhm.
when you go into a practitioner, you forget a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
this way everything's written down, and it will shorten the period of our it will shorten our period of time together. So I don't have
Okay.
to go over all that background stuff. Um, so yes, like we could do one session. It just wouldn't be as optimal. We wouldn't be able to,
Address.
yeah, we wouldn't be able to correct as many imbalances or fully
Okay.
correct it. So it is best to do a series.
Yeah, and I should imagine too that it can vary with each individual person.
100%. And sometimes in a session, the thing that we'll be covering this week or this month, usually you do things for at least a month before you try something new the next month. It could have different symptoms come up for the next month. So then you would try and balance that. And yes, it's a balancing act.
It is. Now, we're getting into the winter months, and travel up here in the winter is not always ideal,
No.
especially if anyone has to drive on Highway 21. You can forget that. A few flakes of snow, it's closed. Do you also do sessions on Zoom?
Yes, I will also do sessions on Zoom.
Oh, good. So then in that case, distance with you really doesn't matter. So if someone lives 70 miles away, it can all be done on Zoom.
That's right. Yes.
That's good. I have to tell you, I think Zoom is absolutely fantastic.
Isn't it?
I do. And I am not the most technical person in the world. I'm really not. And I know there's a lot of things on Zoom that I don't use because it's like, oh God, now what? And it's just I get confused with it. But I think it is absolutely fantastic. And I also do a lot of readings on Zoom, but it allows us to, number one, it allows us to work in the comfort of our home, our office, but it also allows your clients to sit in the comfort of their home. And I think sometimes people relax more.
Yes. I agree.
Mm-hmm. So, Theresa, what got you interested in the Ayurveda?
It was a few years ago. I was going between becoming a holistic nutritionist or something else. And the old countries just kept coming up for me in different ways. And then I did a quick Google search and found Ayurveda. So I looked into which colleges or schools would be best. And the one that I chose was fantastic. It doesn't have like I can't get like an Ayurveda big certification from the US. I can't recall the word right now, but that's okay because I don't really need that for what I'm doing. It's more for people who are recommending supplements and stuff like that. And so I wanted to work with people in a way that brings them back to whole health and not just focusing on nutrition or stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think that that's important because you can give people supplements, or anybody. You can take supplements. You can take all the supplements that you want, but if you don't address the actual problem, all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on.
Yes.
And sometimes, and I'm sure that you find this, that the root cause isn't always physical, but can be mentally emotional in more cases than not.
Yes, exactly. And I find a lot of people aren't aware of that connection. So.
Yeah, well, mind you, I'm a big fan of Louise Hay.
Yes, she's fabulous.
Oh, I think she is. And I remember reading one time that she was diagnosed with cancer, and she didn't want to do chemo. And so she decided, in her words, it was time to put her money where her mouth was, so to speak. And she used her method, and she became cancer-free.
Wow. That's fabulous.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, because the mind is a wonderful thing, right? And it's so powerful. And we just use such a tiny little bit of our minds. And I think it's amazing. Now, the other thing that you do, flower essence.
Yes.
So, what is a flower essence session?
Okay. So are you familiar with what flower essences are?
I imagine they smell like different flowers.
Actually, so there is a very popular flower essence called Bach Rescue Remedy.
Mm-hmm.
And what a flower essence is actually taking part of the spirit of the flower and infusing it into the water. So when you ingest the flower essence or use the flower essence, you're meeting the spirit of the flower on the level of your spirit.
Oh.
Yes. So that was actually a fabulous segue from what you were speaking on, how it's all mental and emotional, is the flower essences work on the mental and emotional level.
Oh, that is interesting. That's fascinating. So how do you know what kind of flower essence or which flower essence a person would need? Like, are there different, I imagine each flower essence has its own personality, so to speak, for lack of a better word. Because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, for sure. So I'll explain a little bit of how we collect the flower essences before I dive into that. So it's an intimate experience. In the training I had, we connected with the elements, and then we walked through a veil and like not a physical veil, but like an esoteric spiritual veil. So we can become more connected to nature. And then when we are collecting the essence, we need to make sure that it is a good, oh, did you have a question?
No, sorry. I'm interested.
The water that we use needs to be like a living water and not a dead water. So from a well or natural spring water or anything like that. And then we put it in a glass cup or a bowl. I use a wine glass. And just because there's no markings or anything on it, because everything that comes in connection with the water is then infused, like that essence is infused in the water. So we connect with the plant, and then we sit with the plant and we speak with it. We ask for permission, and then we ask if the plant would like to infuse its spirit into the water. And then it sits there, and we use our connection with the plant to tell us how long it needs to sit there for before we can collect it. And the plant informs us on what its healing properties are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. So, okay. For example, say you were working with a daisy.
Yes.
Okay. Then you cut the flower off and you put the flower in the water?
So depending on the size of the flower, so a daisy, what we would do is we would take a part of the daisy leaf, because if we touch the flower ourselves, then our essence is also getting in the flower. So we take a daisy leaf and pluck the flower. If we're not able to do that, we can just place the bowl or the cup beside the flower, and then it will infuse that way.
Oh. Years ago, I remember reading how you can talk to plants, and that it was important because if you talk to your plants, then they will thrive and it will help them grow. and sending love their way. It's not just about making sure that they have enough water, but being kind to your plants and talking to them, and words of encouragement. And they did a study. Now, this is an awfully long time ago, but they had plants in one room that they were treated with kindness, they were spoken to, they were looked after, and they thrived. And the plants in the other room, it was constant negative energy thrown at them. I hate you, you're ugly, like things like that. And the plants they wilted. They were getting the same amount of water, but they lost their vibrancy. Like if it was a green plant, it didn't grow as well. And so it really made a difference.
Yeah, the frequency that we emit is everything's so intertwined that it's interesting.
Yeah, it's funny, you don't think of it. You think, oh, it's a plant. It's we have an old house.
Yes.
Okay. Built around 1876. And there's ivy that grows up on the one wall. Well, one part of that ivy has found its way through the brick and into my office.
Oh, no.
I know, but I don't want to cut it because, and it's probably the energies in this room, right, that have attracted it. Yeah. I don't want to cut it because I don't hurt it, and I don't know what it would do, and I don't want to kill it. So I'm just letting it grow. It's coming just under the sill by the window. And it's great because I have this beautiful plant, this beautiful ivy. I don't even have to water it. It gets everything it needs.
Oh, I love it.
But I know. I know, oh God, I've never heard of anything like that happening before. But of course, it would have to happen to me, right? So on your card, you have that you do a combination of sessions. And yeah, I can see how that would work, but I'm going to let you explain it.
So when a client would book with me, I would ask them if they would want to, like, what their goal is. And then we would determine together whether or not they would like to focus on the Ayurveda or the flower essences. They will work really well together. Sometimes if we're stuck working with the Ayurveda part, did I freeze or did you freeze?
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, that's okay. You froze for a second. I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay.
I think it was my
internet. Yeah.
So where did you hear?
I don't know.
That's okay. Well, yeah. I'll start over again.
Yeah, start over again.
Okay, so when a client is to come to me, I'll ask them whether they want an Ayurveda session or a flower essence session, or what their ultimate goal is, because that could determine which direction we go. So if we are to do, the Ayurveda works more on the physical level, whereas the flower essences work more on the emotional and mental level. So they would work really well together in that sense. The flower essences help us, like they support us when we're working through anything emotional, which could be like self-confidence, trouble speaking your voice. It could help heal you. Well, it can't really help heal the traumas, but it can help support you while you process and integrate the traumas that have happened. So yes, and sometimes like when we are stuck on our healing, that can really help support us and make sure that we can stick through with the changes that we want to see in our life. Okay,
I say and this is something that I have learned over the years, is that different healing modalities, you don't, I mean, one on its own will work very well, but sometimes by doing that combination and working them together, because like you say, each one works with a different aspect
Yes.
of your health. And obviously these are, and it makes sense that they work because Ayurveda is natural.
Yes.
And I think this is great. So, Theresa,
Yes.
if somebody wanted to come and book an appointment to see you, how do they get hold of you?
Well, I'm on Instagram. My Instagram handle is mystical.wellness. Or I've changed it recently. It's either mystical.wellness or mystical.wellbeing. Let me just double check.
Okay.
That is my primary, mystical.wellbeing. That's the primary way of getting hold of me. Another way is through email. So my email address is holmest@live.ca. So HOLMEST@live.ca. And just so if anybody does reach out through email, just put in your subject line the reason that you're reaching out to me, because I get a lot of emails and I don't want you to get lost.
Yeah.
And then I can pass on like the intake forms and everything like that.
Okay, that's good. Now, you don't have a website, do you?
Not at this time.
Okay, but you will be, well, you'll have one next year anyway.
Yes.
So that will be good. And then people will be able to. Now, there are a lot of people who don't go on Instagram.
Yes.
Do you have a page on Facebook if someone wanted to get hold of you?
I have my personal Facebook page on Facebook.
Okay.
So it would be my first and last name. And
All right.
I believe it's public.
Yes, because when you get up to my generation, we're not quite as savvy, shall we say, with all of the different social medias as you younger people are. You've grown up with it. We didn't. We've had to learn it all.
It's true.
Through all the different methods. When I was in high school, I had to switch high schools because I didn't want to take it. My parents wanted me to take data processing. And there was only one school in the area that had a computer, one computer. And then there were three different rooms. There was a room we sat in and did all the programming. And then there was another room that we sat in and we punched out cards. And then there was the other room that had a printer that was bigger than my desk that I work on now. And a computer that took up a whole wall. And so that's where I started. And my God, what you can do now. But anyway, we are going to take a very short break. And then when we come back, I'd like to talk a little bit more about your cards and some of the other stuff that you're doing.
That's great.
All right. So stay tuned.
I was born and raised in Musqueam First Nation territory by my mother, who spoke Hunkaminam to me. As a child, I ceased using my mother tongue, as to use any language other than English was considered not being Canadian, so I was told. The old people came to me in a dream and reminded me of who I am and where I come from. I have reawakened. My roots are strong, and I'm no longer a silent speaker. My language tells me where I'm from. It defines me and guides me to teach others to learn and understand our culture and traditions. A gift for those in the present and the unborn generations. What was lost is found. What was asleep has awakened. My blood is here, and I am complete. I have returned home.
I still remember the games. The laughter, the footsteps through the hallway. I'll never forget the challenges.
Every day I come back from work, it's always like this. We're yelling in front of the kids.
I'll never forget the help we needed. How far we've come.
And welcome back to Third Eye View. And again, my guest is Theresa, and we've been talking about flower essences and Ayurveda sessions. Now, Theresa does a whole lot more than that. Now, you did create a deck of cards.
Yeah.
Have you started your book yet?
No, I haven't started the book yet.
All right. You need to.
I've been told that for a couple years now.
Yes. All right. To use an English expression, time to get off your duff and get it done. All right. Because it is a book that's needed. All right. You have it in you. It will not, there will be more than one book that you write. Okay. It won't just be the one. I feel that one book will be a book of instructions, but the other book, it's going to be a story. It's a story. It's your story. It is a story of your journey. And this is, and you're going to get really deep and personal with it. So it's going to be a difficult book for you to write. Okay. There's going to be tears. As I'm seeing pages stained with tears. But this is something that you need to do. It's something that you need to write, because not only is it going to help you, but it's going to help a lot of other people as well. Okay. And helping them too in ways of encouragement. All right. Is this making any sense to you?
100%.
Yeah, you're good with that?
Yes.
Okay. So time to get started. And there's other, I know you've done the, I know you created the cards, but for some reason, I've got it in my head that there was something else on the table that you had also created, whether it was something you had written, whether it was another type of a divination tool or like a tool to help with everyday things. I can't remember, and obviously you didn't have it. But
okay. I had a brochure, my deck, the flower essences, and a clipboard.
Okay, well, what I am remembering seeing obviously isn't in existence yet. It happens, right?
It happens.
So I would say that you're going to be very busy.
Yes.
Over the next little while between one thing and another, because there's something else that you're creating, and it comes in a square box. All right. And I would say the box is probably, maybe roughly 5 by 5.
Okay.
Like 5 inches by 5 inches. And it's about that thick, 1.5 inches to 2 inches thick. All right. And I don't know what's inside it. There are cards inside it, but it's covering a totally different thing. And there's instructions. There's a book that goes with it as well. And it might be something, it's a teaching tool. And it's something where you're working with the flower essences. Yeah, because I'm seeing pictures of different flowers, mm-hmm. and maybe teaching people how to use them, or using the flowers, the flower essences, as part of your divination tool, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, That does sound like something that I would make.
Okay, well, that's good because I've already seen it, so you're going to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Don't always expect normal with me, okay?
I never expect normal.
No, no. Now, do you have any classes or anything coming up, or anything special that you're doing, events that you're doing around Christmas? And
I'm not at this time, but I'm sure there will be something in the works coming up. Not related to this, but I am going to be having some gluten-free baking in the Paisley Christmas market.
oh,
Yes. So
that's right, because you were saying that you do nutrition as well.
yeah, yes. Like I'm not a nutritionist, but I do have a very deep passion for baking. So I will be doing that.
Okay. Now, do you work that in with your Ayurveda?
Not right now, but it is something I do plan on doing.
Okay. Now, flower essences.
Yes,
You can put that in your baking, can't you?
I can. Yes.
Yes, you can. And you're good at, you can make up recipes.
I am really good at making up recipes.
You are. You're very good at making up recipes. Guess what that one of those other books is? Guess what I'm seeing in that box?
Yeah, a cookbook.
Yeah, recipes. And whether they're recipe cards, because I'm just trying to, if I in the box, now mind you, it's square. This isn't going to be, but you've got like something there, but then you've got something separate that's beside it. Like that. It's two different things. Okay. So it may even be where some different essences and the recipes that go with them, or I don't know, you'll figure it out. But get to work.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And another thing I'm being told, if you think that you are finished your education, you're wrong. Okay. Because there are some other courses coming up that you're going to be taking.
Yes.
But not only, I feel that not only are you going to be taking courses, but you've got some new guides coming in. All right. And you're not paying attention to them enough yet because they're telling me it's like they're knocking on the door and no one's answering. Okay. Yes. But so you need to start listening and trusting your instincts. But they are also going to teach you. And they may even come to you in your dreams. Okay. And, you know, a lot of people say to me, oh, but I never remember my dreams. But you always remember what you need. I know there's many times I have been taught things in my sleep. And then I get up in the morning and it's like, oh God, I've got to go in my office. I've got to do this, this, and this, because that's what they told me to do. And I'm feeling that that is the sort of thing that will probably happen with you. Okay. But your guides are definitely coming in, and it is going to be all natural stuff. I want to go to like grandmother, great grandmother figure, but this is someone in spirit. But that sort of, grandmother, great grandmother figure. Yes. All right, from this incarnation, who was also very good in the kitchen. And yes. She's showing me a wooden spoon. All yes. Right. Funny enough, she's also showing me a spurtle, and I don't know if you know what that is. It's a Scottish thing. Is there Scottish in your background somewhere?
Yeah, a couple generations.
Okay, so that would make sense then with this sort of grandmother, great grandmother, because she's also showing me a spurtle that she's using for stirring. All right, like it's a wooden tool. And she's going to come through because she didn't use recipes. She just made them up. So she will tell you, she's going to channel through with you, and she will tell you what to do and how much to use. You may have to figure out how much, because she'll probably say, well, yeah, just put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? So you'll have to measure it out if you're going to write it down.
That's the part I forget to do.
Yes. All right. But yeah, and like I say, it's going to be it's going to be a combination with the nutrition, with the Ayurveda, and also with the flower essences. But there's one other modality that you're bringing in. All right. And I don't know if you even know what it is yet.
I don't.
But don't worry about it, because you'll probably, they're telling me Christmas, sort of around the Christmas holiday going into the new year, is when you'll actually get it figured out, and you'll know at that point what it is. It's like the seed will be planted, and it's like, oh yeah, that would be really good. That would
tie everything together.
Yeah. But there's a total of 3 things that you're bringing together, like 3 different modalities.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So, is there anything, like, we still have 10 minutes to go. Is there anything that I haven't asked you or covered or talked about that you would like to talk about or promote?
Well, we could talk a little bit more about the flower essences.
All right.
So I explained how we make the flower essences.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what a session would look like for that, because I don't think we got into that so much.
No, we didn't.
It would be a little bit of talking like we're doing now, just so I could get to know my client's story and their perspective, just to see what patterns and themes are going on in their lives, because oftentimes we don't see the themes ourselves. It takes an external person to put pieces together. So after chatting for a bit, getting to know what my client is going through, the way that we were trained was the way that my mentor did it was she would go through her catalog and pick the flower essences that way, like pick 5 or 10 of them that she felt would suit her client that she had. I do it a little bit differently. I set out all of my flower essences. I have 5 boxes of them, and there's different ones. So there's protection essences, which protects our aura. There's tree essences, which help us bring us back into our body, because trees are very strong, and some trees are ancient. And then there's 2 boxes of flowers, and each flower has its own energy and it does different things. There are groups of flowers like the daisy family that you brought up earlier. They're good for certain things. They're really good for the solar plexus, like helping heal any trauma or any wounding in the solar plexus area. So I intuitively pick the essences depending on the age of a person. So an adult would get about 5 essences in a vial, and then I just double check by using my pendulum to see whether or not I've selected the right ones, and like 99% of the time it's accurate. And how we start usually is, like, our first session would be more on creating that protective field and getting you back into your body if you've been out of body. And we work from the root chakra up. So we don't go from... So a lot of the essences that are in the first formula will be most likely focused around protection and the root. And then it's also a journey. So it's a repeat process. And the longer you do it, the more essences that you'll have to help you integrate with what's going on in your frequency.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many different things. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about old, like traditional medicines, and how, the universe, the earth, Mother Earth, she's given us everything that we need.
Yes.
It's all there. It's just learning how to use it. And not just learning how, it's remembering. Remembering. And I think that that's the big thing is, remembering this, because we're so quick to, I have to go get a pill. And it's take a pill for this and a pill for that.
Yes.
And you're constantly putting this into your system, and it's synthetic. So I question, because it's synthetic, how much of it does your body really absorb? And how much of it is up here?
Oh, 100%.
Right? You're told it's going to work, so you believe it. Our bodies were not created to absorb synthetics. They were designed to work with natural, to absorb natural vitamins, the different elements. And like I say, we seem to have forgotten.
Yes.
All of that. Forgotten the old ways.
Yes.
And I think part of it, the old ways of healing, because it's not just putting a band, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, but you're not just putting a Band-Aid on, it's dealing with the actual root cause. So it's not that instant gratification. It's not that instant healing. It takes time, because it takes time for that illness or that discomfort. That doesn't just happen overnight.
No. And the essences are very gentle, and they don't like force things. They allow you to heal at your own pace. So they're just there to support you, and like a gentle urge sometimes to make sure that you are able to get the medicine that you need out of it.
Yeah. And your body has to, I'm going to use the word prepare, and I may be using the wrong terminology, the wrong words here, but it's that your body has to be prepared. It has to prepare itself to accept these. And with all the smog and everything around us, everything is so blocked and cut off. And
100%. Like the essences, I really think they're a powerful tool, because they are so gentle and they allow us to go at our own pace.
Yeah. And that's important, because what pace would work for you might not work for me.
Yes.
And you can't compare.
Not at all.
No, because your body knows what it needs. And that's what you've got to listen to.
Yes.
You've got to listen to that body. When I sit and I eat a chocolate bar, it's like, no, you don't need it. But I want it. So, and I mean, that's an example. Of course, there's all these other things too. But this, unfortunately, is what we do. We get cravings for sugars and all the things that we really shouldn't have. And it is hard to break that. Now, one more time, I would like to, if you can go over your contact information, if for anyone to book an appointment to come and see you, whether they come to see you in person or they make an appointment over Zoom.
So my name is Theresa Laliberte. That is Laliberte. And you can find me on Facebook. I have a public profile there. Or send me an email with the subject line like that you want an appointment. My email address is holmest, HOLMEST @live.ca. And my Instagram handle is mystical.wellbeing.
All right. Now, is there a phone number?
I'd prefer not to, just because it's my personal cell phone.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Get it. Yep.
yes. But I may be working out of an office in the future over the next month or two. I have a meeting with somebody tomorrow to set that up. So
good.
Yes, when I get that information, I can pass that along as well.
All right. Good. Because yeah, you will get an office. If not this one, it'll be another one, but you will get one.
Yes.
Okay. And you will be working with a partner.
Yes.
Who,
and she's fabulous.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Theresa, I would like to thank you for being a guest on the show. And I do look forward to seeing you again. And now you're in Port Elgin?
I am in Port Elgin, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I will let you know when we're going to be up to Port the next time, because like I say, Russ wants to, him and your father-in-law, we're talking about getting together for coffee.
Yes.
So I'll push it.
I would like to see you again as well.
Yeah, I would too. So we'll have to arrange something, because I remember we talked quite a bit in Tiverton at the show.
Yes.
And you have wonderful energies. All right.
Thank you.
And just going, honestly, I've only met Theresa the one time, but going from her energies, I would recommend her to anybody. And for those of you that have been watching the show, been with me for the past 10 years, you know, I wouldn't have a guest that I didn't believe in. Oh. All right. So thank you very, very much. And we still have 6 minutes. All right. So that's all right. Sometimes my timing can get a little bit off. You know, I have to tell you, it has been, the last 3 weeks have been an absolute whirlwind. And it's just been, if it's not been one thing, it's been something else. It's been different events. There was the Psychic Soul Sisters, then there was the Holistic Show, then there was Thanksgiving, then I had a funeral to go to down in Mississauga, and my grandson's birthday party down in Kitchener this weekend. And honestly, it's just been one thing after the other. I've hardly been home. Now, let's see. How did we talk about how you got interested in the flower essences?
We did not.
All right, let's talk about that then.
Okay. I honestly don't really remember so much, just because I was looking at the flower essences for a little while. I knew there was something else I needed to be doing, and I wasn't sure what. It was herbalism was one of the things that, yeah, I was debating about doing herbalism and becoming an herbalist. Or, and then I discovered flower essences.
Yeah.
So when we moved to our house here in Port Elgin, I had motherwort was popping up everywhere. Everywhere. And I thought it was because of the medicinal properties of motherwort. And then I discovered the essence property of motherwort and what that was for, and which makes sense because it's all about setting boundaries and basically everything a mother would need.
Yeah.
Their kids. And so I looked online to see who was offering flower essence courses. And Bach does offer one, but it was just teaching about their essences and not about like the intricacies and being intimate with the flowers and all of that stuff. Plus, I'm a fairly spiritual person, and I felt Bach was a little too scientific and too rigid for who I am. Yeah. And then I discovered her name is Amaya, and she's not teaching it anymore. I was in the last cohort. She is I believe she calls herself a priestess. She's a fabulous energy. She has been working with flower essences for 20 plus years. And she has created a beautiful vessel for people to learn about flower essences.
Yeah.
And she has such an intimate relationship with flowers. Yes.
I do. I love flowers. Anything with color, right?
Yes.
I'm not very good at keeping them alive.
They're fabulous.
Yeah.
And like I felt that too. I was missing something that connected the body with the emotions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think, it is a good thing because a lot of today's medicine, it's all about the physical.
100%.
They don't touch on the mental, emotional. Even like with anxiety and things like that, they're too quick to put a Band-Aid on. They don't go to the root cause.
No, they don't.
And this is where you need to go. You need to get right in there. You need to get to the root cause. And that's what you need to fix. Because you work on the root cause, you fix the root cause, and the rest will all fall into place.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes that root cause is not a physical thing.
No.
Oftentimes it's not.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is one of the things that Louise Hay pushes, right? Disease, it's dis-ease, where something is out of whack in your body on a mental emotional state.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very intricate, simple, but intricate at the same time.
Yeah. No, it is. Well, I think our time's up now. Oh, Mark, there are days. But anyway, again, I would like to thank you very much for being a guest on the show. This has been wonderful. And remember the importance, keeping laughter in your heart, because laughter really is life's best medicine. And so sit and laugh with your plants. Put some laughter in their energies too. I'll bet they thrive on it as well. And even water, because you talk about living water. Now I'm going to go off onto something totally different, right? I'm thinking of all these things. But even with water, and I know there are energies in water, and it is important. So again, thank you very much. And everybody take care. And like I say, keep laughter in your heart. It helps. Bye.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.